I love pricing. I've been obsessed with pricing ever since I can remember, particularly when I started understanding housing. I thought that was pretty strange. Who's ever experienced their boomer parents, going on about how cheap their house was? I know my parents did. And then I was like, wait, why is this all of a sudden worth 10 times the amount, but it's the same house? It's the same paint, it's the same wood frames, it's the same everything. And that's when yes, inflation, yes, blah, blah, blah. But at the simplicities of it, it was like, it's value, it's supply and demand, it's positioning, it's what it is intrinsically now worth. And then I started really getting obsessed with that distinction of how can we add more value? Because see, I didn't really become an entrepreneur. I was kind of born an entrepreneur. And what I say that is both my parents are entrepreneurs and my grandparents are entrepreneurs. So ever since I was little, I particularly remember my grandfather asking me the question of like, how would you make this more valuable? Like I remember growing watermelon and having a little honesty box on the side of the street by his orchard. And like, how would you make that watermelon more valuable? And he got me thinking about it. And I was like, well, what if people want watermelon now? And they're driving past this honesty box and they can't eat it now because it's a whole freaking watermelon. So what if we cut it up and wrap up some slices in Glad wrap? And my granddad was like, great, let's do that. So I did that, $1 a slice. All of a sudden, I turned my $5 watermelon into $10. And I was mind blown. And that's when I realized that pricing is positioning. Pricing is how you position something to add the maximum value and get an exchange of value for that positioning. In this case, $1 for a cut slice of watermelon when you're driving past on a hot summer's day in Tauranga, muy bueno. So what I want to take you through now is 5 keys for effective pricing to really understand and give you some tools and some, let's say, heuristics, which is mental rules of thumb, on how to start thinking about pricing your offers. Who's currently in the ballpark of struggling to price their stuff? So there's 5 keys. And the first one I really want to start with, and this one really helped me in the early stages of understanding how much are you actually worth? How much are you actually worth? Have you ever calculated and written down everything you've ever done that goes into your brain? Brian and I, collectively, our brains are over 1 million, easily. With the amount of courses, programs, and seminars we've done over the last decade, $1 million, easily. I think the last coach we had was 25,000. And then even the masterminds we join, the constant courses I buy. I've got so many courses in my thing I need to do. But how much are you actually worth? Even your formal education, the work you've done in the past, even if, say, a past job you had nothing to do with what you do now, that still accumulates to your experience. If you say you used to work in hospitality as a teenager, like that's customer service experience. You now understand how to look after people. The books you've read, the courses, the programs. Give yourself an hourly rate of even just like $50 and then consider the hours you've learned, the hours of YouTube, the hours of podcasts, the hours of audiobook. Your obsession was priceless. Even just if you note down a ballpark figure on your notes on how much you think your brain is worth, I guarantee it's over 100,000 easily. Well, damn, that continued investment in yourself, that value that you have, even the time to listen to an hour-long podcast about health, and then that you can summarize that for someone for a minute, in a minute, that's so worthful. This is another one I really want to lean into as well, is that if you want to make more, become more valuable. It's the simple truth of the economy. It's the simple truth of how the world works. Become more valuable. Do more courses. So I encourage you now to take a minute and really jot down everything you've ever done and just come to a ballpark figure. Now, you don't need the exact numbers. If you can say like, I've read 100 books, let's say $20 a book, jot that down. Okay. So this is another big one when it comes to money and pricing, is you cannot expect to sell something for $10,000 with confidence if you've never invested in something similar. Congruency is key when it comes to money. I'm happy to charge $25,000 for private coaching because I've easily invested that multiple times before. It's easy because I'm congruent in it. I'm confident in it. I can sell a course for $1,000, for $100 because I brought so many, right? So really buy what you sell is also an important energetic mantra to really start pricing your worth and doing what you got to do. I'm loving these $500,000 brains here. That's some good numbers. Okay, the second thing and borderline mistake that we see a lot of people in the service industry make is they don't truly understand how much it costs to actually run their business. So a lot of people come in and they might, be in the per hour model, charging $200 an hour, and they're not fully, or even $100 an hour, or even $50 an hour, and they're not considering half of that has then gone to tax. Roundabout. Not considering that of that they have to pay for their tech stack, their subscriptions, their domain names, their Xero accounts, their subscriptions to all the apps and softwares they use to edit content or whatever they want to do, Zoom accounts, all of it. Lead acquisition. How much does it cost to get a client? What are you doing there? Support services like your accountants, your bookkeepers, the creative services you might need, design, websites. This all stacks up. So I really want you now as well to, hopefully you're tracking your numbers and have all your accounting in check, is to really look like how much does it cost to run your business? Untapped alone, just on subscriptions, is around $1,000 to $1,500 a month on average, US, just on our tech stack, just that alone, let alone taxes, team, full-time team members, all of that adds up, right? So it's really important to consider this in your pricing as well. Okay, I'm just going to gloss over this one because that should be, know your numbers, team. I also want to share with you the industry standards for the online education space specifically and services. This applies to services mainly only. So it could be creative services, coaching, business coaching, relationship coaching, therapy, those types of models with long-term containers or courses. This is what we see as the industry standards from the last probably 2 years, and I'll share with you some specifics on where the market's currently at as well. So hold your breath. So here's the industry standards, team. Screenshot that. For anything passive, yes, this is in USD Gale, but it's also kind of context dependent. So the numbers are kind of the same. So $1,000 thing in Australia is usually still $1,000 things in US. It doesn't really matter the currency. Fun fact, a lot of businesses do this because pricing, the number of a price is positioning. A lot of people don't know this, but Lululemon is this, and a lot of products, but Lululemon specifically as an example, they're the exact same number no matter where you go. So a pair of Lululemon tights in New Zealand, say, is $189. In USA, it's still $189. But the currency is different. So if you need to kit out your Lulu, go somewhere where the dollar's really low and you'll get all your gear for the same number, but completely different. Because pricing is positioning. Pricing is a marketing tool to say, this is what it's worth. It's worth $9,999. The currency is a second thought later. Just for fun fact, I'm glad everyone loves that. But the core thing here is usually selling anything passive like a course for more than $1,000 is really difficult. The amount of marketing and support you need to really get someone over the line to buy a course passively, with passive means none of your engagement, they don't talk to you, they don't get messaging, there's nothing, for more than 1,000 is really challenging. So that's why that break in the middle there between active and passive is there. These are industry standards. Audience offers are like really small sub problems that you help solve for people, like a workshop or a small course, 27 to 97 as usual. And lead generations, usually $0 to 14. Case example of a $14 lead gen would be a book. Yeah, so some nice ballpark figures. And then that exclusive offering up the top, I'm sure some of you have questions around that. That is premium sort of level consulting where you're charging anywhere from 15% to equity or revenue share if you're like a business coach, or even I've heard of some people who are executive coaches and they come into a company knowing that they're going to improve the performance of the team as a whole, which will improve the revenue of the business. So they ask for a percentage of the revenue, which is very common at the very top. Finally, I got 2 more. This is 4. ROI and COI. Now, this is where we start looking at the avatar. the ideal client, your dream client. We've looked at you, understanding how much you're worth. We've looked at your business, understanding the real elements of how much it's worth. We've looked at the macro of business, being the current industry standards. And now we're going to dive into the actual human being that you're here to help. So your key is to solve a 6-figure problem or give them a 10x return. With any of our programs, our game is to get you a 10x return, minimum, right? Even for us, we often get clients who do more than that. Say, for example, our incubator program is about $3,300 if you buy it on your own, and most people get that back. And then we've even had someone earn $60,000 in that same time frame, right? That's a 20x return on their investment. I'll go into more examples as well. The other thing is your product or service needs to be a painkiller, not a vitamin. And this is really, really looping into that ROI and COI. So the return on investment, how much is that result worth to them? I encourage you to do this as I'm going through this. So your current result for your clients, say it's, grow their business, relieve themselves from pain, get more social media followers, fix their accounting, lose some weight, heal their relationship, have their child be able to engage in school or maybe engage with their peers. How much is that result worth to them? What type of other results would they get from this result? Again, that compounding effect of the work you do. Case in point, if you help someone lose weight, they might then be able to spend more time with their children. They might be able to actually, or if they don't have children, they might be able to get a partner, have some children, get that promotion at work because they've got more energy. There's so many ripple effects of your work. Now, this is an exercise to anchor you in how much you're worth. It's not a way to then price. It's just an exercise. So really measuring every part of their life that could be impacted by the results you have. If you save people time as your core offering, what are they going to do with that time? They could learn more. They could spend it with children. They could grow their business in other ways. There's so many things you could do. Particularly, I see Effie on my screen here. She helps a lot of online entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs with their operations, saving them a lot of time, streamlining a lot of their finances, and even making the money instantly by fixing some of these things. That's an amazing return on investment on her services. So make this tangible, make these real, and we'll go through an example as well. The other thing to consider is when people are buying something, they're often buying something for an ROI. They're buying something to become something. They're buying that vision, that goal, but they also want to get away from something. What is the pain? What is the things they're trying to get away from? So what's the cost of inaction? What will it cost them to do nothing? How much is this pain they will endure? And what other money are they spending trying to solve this problem? For example, my favorite example is a divorce. If people don't get relationship counseling to perhaps mend a divorce, that could cost them millions if they're very well off and they have to split everything, right? Or the enduring of the kids and what's going to happen there and the therapy bills later for them because you got divorced. There's so many costs to the inaction to really think about. If someone's in immense pain and they don't do something about it, like physical pain, they could be out of work, right? So really getting present to the cost of people not using your services. Even if you're the likes of like a service provider, like you build people's websites or social media, really thinking about like the impact of a business to not utilize social media. That could cost them millions. And really getting present to these numbers, even if they're just back of napkin type of math, okay? So I just want to give you some examples just to really cement this distinction for you of ROI and CRI. So let's say it's more of a personal growth offer, right? And your client is feeling lost. The result, they discover their unique purpose and a career that lights them up. That's easily worth $100,000. Or they might, general happiness is returned. They get a pay rise or a new job. Instantly, that's now 20 grand or 10 grand they just put on top of their paycheck from simply doing your $2,000 program. The cost of inaction, not advancing in their current role, destroying relationships, emotions, emptiness, health issues, which is expensive. Spending time to fill the void through spending like alcohol, travel, clothing, changing jobs. So many things. Yeah, cost of inaction is huge in my estimation. Years of therapy, wrong universities, wrong careers could succumb tens of thousands of millions, Chloe. Yeah, amazing. Good to get. I think, I have another example for you here as well. Say, lack of confidence, the result, they want to own their self-worth in business. This is $1 million problem, right? Return on investment, start charging their worth and make 500 grand in revenue within 6 months, was making 100,000. Cost of inaction, continue the same pricing strategy, make 100 grand instead of 500,000. Can't hire team, can't hire support, burnout, business has crumbled, business has gone away. Now they have to go back to working, right? All from them not investing in their business. So you can really see when you cement to this, you can really start understanding that what you charge, your $5,000 to help someone completely turn around their business is because people are not buying your time. Again, like I promised at the start, I want to get you out of this per hour model, is people are buying a result. They're not buying a relationship counselor for $100 an hour. They're buying fix my marriage. People are not buying $100 to fix their back pain. They're buying, I want to be pain free. Really get the results that you create, and the value in that result for someone is astronomical when you really put pen to paper. And then you can compound this by understanding how much you're truly worth. And then you can compound this again by putting your business hat on and going, my expenses are, $2,000 a month. I need to sell at least 3 clients to then make any side of profit. To then understanding their avatar. Who knows that their pricing gets to change now already? Oh, and the industry standards, the pillars, what everyone's up to. So good. I wanted to slip in this other one-liner here as well, because I think it's really poignant and powerful when it comes to understanding what we're doing here. Is we're not here to build products and sell them, but we're here to actually solve problems. And really understanding what it is, those problems for the people we want to help. That's why niching down to a particular person or a particular group of people is super important, because you can really understand how much that problem is worth for them and what other solutions they're spending to try and solve that problem. And you can then package it in a way that works really well. So really connect to that avatar. Who is that? What is that ROI that they're looking for? What is that cost of inaction for them? What is their pains, problems, and results that you want to solve for them? Really connecting to where else are they spending money to try and solve this is another really good question to ask yourself. If, say, for example, health is a great example. They're spending days at the gym, hours at the gym trying to lose weight and nothing's happening because they're not actually addressing the root cause, which is their gut health or their nutrition, right? What is that problem really worth to someone? Solve problems and you can charge so much more. And if you want to make more, solve bigger problems. And if you want to make more on top of that, become so valuable that you're the only one that can solve that problem in that niche way, in that specific way, you'll be set for life. Hope you enjoyed that training. If you did, would love to know your biggest insights below in the comments, and a like would be so nice on the way. And if you're there, you might as well hit subscribe. Right, if you're looking for your next training, click one of these videos around here. And as always, love your work, D.